So when and where did this happen? And what did you see? Jeremy, you can start the story, and then Dave can pick it up.
Sure. Look, it's ironic. The UFO guy that always has his back turned, never sees the UFOs, takes, thousands and thousands of reports, dozens per day. And, I always wanted to see a bona fide UFO, a machine in the sky that defied our known laws of physics as we understand them. So Dave comes up to visit me, and it was right at the moment when he said, he's a comic, so he's funny. And he says, right at the moment, he says, I was really hoping coming up to see the UFO expert that I'd see a UFO. And it wasn't 45 seconds after that. I told him to turn around. I'm going to let Dave tell the rest of this.
All right. What did you see, Dave?
Well, I turned around and we saw this bright light in the sky. And behind it and around it, you could see aircraft. The normal aircraft going through the sky at night. But then there was this one very bright light. There was a pulsing light, and it was, it was sort of three lights on the front of it, and then there was a kind of a yellowy orange body to it, and it started moving around the valley that we were in, and from about, I would say, it went from like a 2:00 position in the sky around to about an 8:00 position in the sky, very quickly. And all the time it was happening, I just kept thinking, this is going to be just like in my backyard when I see something and I go, and now I can hear the helicopter, or I can see that it's a plane. And so I kept waiting for it to get boring, and it didn't, and it just got closer and closer, and at one point I realized it's not making any sound at all. And then it hung over the mountains for about 20 seconds, and then it sort of just disappeared behind the mountains. And then after a moment, Jeremy said, "Dude, that was a UFO. We just saw a UFO," and it was this really strange experience because I think neither one of us got excited, or it's like our emotions were weirdly tamped down as we were looking at this thing. And what would you say, Jeremy? It was about the size of a bus.
Yeah, look, the thing that really struck me about it, because, I watch the sky all the time, and I've got a huge sky view. And the thing that really struck me about it, the thing that really eats at me to this day, is and maybe it's just because of my perspective, but the power and the propulsion of this. There were no sonic booms. It was a machine. You could see the body of it. It was huge. It shouldn't have been there. And the way it slipped across the sky is like a hot knife through butter. It made these 4 pulses where the body of the craft, the skin of what we were looking at, of this machine, it pulsed with this awesome power. And that's what really struck me. This thing should have made sound. It was huge. It looked like a cartoon of the 1940s. Like, this thing shouldn't exist. Dave said it looks like a hamburger with a bite out of it. It was non-aerodynamic. And it really was the oddest. It wasn't what I was expecting to see a UFO, but it was so large, and it was a machine. And the way it moved across the sky felt so awkward to me. And it just slipped across. And again, no sonic booms, no sound. We just thought it would kind of turn into something normal, and it did the opposite.
So did something that big, logic tells you other people should have seen it. Did they? Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. But, I mean, look, you know me. I immediately go on. I track the International Space Station, which I watch every time it comes over my area in California. I looked at the satellite maps. I looked at all launches, everything. This thing, this machine was unlike anything I've ever seen before, and it was awesome. So whatever it was, it's not something that I'm aware of within my understanding of technology that we have. It was a true UFO.
Dave Foley, you've never seen one before. You saw this one. Clearly, it seems out of the ordinary. Does it change anything for you?
Not. It doesn't really change anything. I mean, I'm really glad I saw it, and it was really interesting to see. And But I mean, I guess because I already believed that the phenomenon was real, but it was certainly nice to actually experience something rather than just hearing secondhand accounts of it. And as I said, to me, even now, it was a strange sensation, like it was being shown to us, and as I said, and I felt like somehow my response to it was being strangely tamped down,
Huh.
and it still kind of feels that way to me.
Well, the word display has been used by some knowledgeable folks who study this matter, that some of these UFO incidents are almost like a display, like it's meant to be, to make a mental impression on us. Dave,